Where do you get your vitamin D? From the sun, from your skin, or from your diet? Should we really be calling it the sunshine vitamin? Or is it just a name that stuck with us, even though it doesn't quite capture the truth? Here we are today in a beautiful spring morning in Brisbane, Australia. We have the sun, we have my skin, and I've had breakfast before this. And here's the big puzzle. If vitamin D is the gift of the sunlight, why are skin cancer rates climbing in the UK, in the US, and in Canada? Places where people complain that they hardly see the sun for half the year. Something doesn't add up. You've heard the extremes. Stay out of the sun completely. Every ray is poison. Or the opposite. The sun is natural medicine. Sunscreen is toxic and you can't live without the sun. Both sides shout. Neither side is right completely. So, where's the truth and how we untangle science from the hype? I'm Dr. Chris Ho, a skin cancer physician here in Brisbane. Our UV in Brisbane, in Queensland, Australia, index isn't mild. It's often 8 to 10, and that's extreme. Even 12 to 13 at midday in summer. Very high to extreme. Here, the skin cancers are part of daily life. And every week, every day, I see the paradox. Patients afraid of the sun with low vitamin D, and others who treat the sun as therapy and come in with skin cancers and melanomas. Vitamin D's story didn't start with a hype. It started with children. In the early 20th century, rickets was rampant. Bowed legs, weak bones, growth failure. Researchers traced it to a lack of sunlight. So, cod liver oil, of all things, was one of the first treatments. So, out of tragedy came discovery. And that was the first wave of vitamin D from deficiency to prevention. Now, fast forward to today, to what we know now. Vitamin D is made mainly in the skin. When a narrow slice of UVB light from the sun, around 300 nanometer mark, and it strikes your skin, it sparks the reaction that turns cholesterol in the skin into vitamin D3 specifically. The skin is a factory, and the sun is just the spark. Diet does help, but only modestly. In Australia, intakes are generally low. In the UK and the US, fortification helps. Milk, cereals, margarine. Natural foods like oily fish, eggs, and mushrooms add to some, but never enough by itself. And here's something worth noting early. Vitamin D doesn't work alone. Think of calcium as its closest partner. Without vitamin D, calcium can't be absorbed properly into your bones. And without calcium, all the vitamin D in the world won't protect them. We circle back to that more fully later. But here's the catch now. Not all sun is equal. In Brisbane, UV is strong year round. In UK and Canada and the US, the sun's angle in winter filters out almost all the UVB. No matter how long you sit outside in December in the UK, your skin can't make the vitamin D it needs. Zero. I've spoken before about the fiercest sun in the world, and here in Queensland we know it well. So, why are melanoma rates still climbing in the UK, in the US, in Canada? Well, partly it's behavior. People chase the sunny holidays. They lie unprotected on beaches and once used tanning beds, which are now banned. And partly it's genetics. Pale skin, sudden UV burns. That's the fuel for melanoma. The sun is a friend, but too much, too intense, like any unhealthy relationship, it turns toxic. Here's something else few people realize: your skin has a limit. After a certain point, more UV doesn't mean more vitamin D. The factory switches off. You can't overdose on vitamin D from the sun, but you can overdose on sun damage on your skin. And not everyone's skin is equal. And with age, the skin loses the ability to make vitamin D efficiently. So older skin makes about a third of what young skin can. And darker skin, of course, needs more sun to produce the same amount. And your genetics, your skin type, your family history, all of these shape not just vitamin D production, but also your cancer risk. That's one reason older people, even in sunny Queensland, may still be low in vitamin D. So, where does that leave us? Vitamin D is not just sunshine, it's skin plus sun, which strictly has its limit, shaped by age, skin type, and behavior. That's the foundation. And here's what we haven't touched yet: the modern hype. Supplements, doses, blood tests claim about mood, immunity, cancer cures, and fierce debate over sunscreen. Diet alone rarely gives you enough vitamin D unless foods are fortified. That's why supplements are common. But more isn't better. Daily needs for most adults sit around 600 to 800 international units. The safe upper limit is 4,000 international units. Toxicity is rare, but real, usually from taking tens of thousands of units daily for weeks or months. When it happens, blood calcium rises, nausea, confusion, kidney stones, even kidney damage happens. Vitamin D is vital for bone health and calcium absorption. They are partners in crime. Severe deficiency causes rickets and osteomalacia. But here's the twist: high dose boluses, monthly or annually, mega doses have actually increased the risk of falls and fractures in trials. So the word is steady daily or weekly doses work better. And remember, we just said vitamin D doesn't work alone. Calcium is its closest partner. Without vitamin D, calcium can't get absorbed into your bones properly. Without calcium, all the vitamin D in the world won't strengthen them. Magnesium plays a supporting role too. It's in nuts, seeds, and greens, and it's like the quiet switch that turns on vitamin D in your body. But calcium is the hard one. It's not easy to get enough from diet alone, especially for older people. That's why this partnership really matters. What about mood? Some people swear vitamin D lifted their depression. Psychiatry is more open to the link now between the sun and mood and depression, especially when deficiency is clear. The evidence is mixed. Some trials show small benefits, others show nothing. Personally, I find I need an hour or two less sleep in summer and I feel more energetic. That's me. And I also know many patients who tell me the same. So, does vitamin D play a part in sleep regulation? Possibly interesting, but not settled. But certainly the sun does. And then There's cancer. A big trial, the VITAL trial, tested vitamin D in over 25,000 adults. No reduction in overall cancer incidence. Some hint of fewer fatal or metastatic cancers, but not enough. Not enough to call it prevention. And no trial has ever shown vitamin D prevents melanoma. Chasing sun for vitamin D is chasing the wrong prize. After all, there's a limit of how much vitamin D your skin can produce in a day by the sun. Now, the myths. Sunscreen causes cancer. False. UV causes cancer. Sunscreen protects. Sunscreen blocks vitamin D? Does it? In theory, yes, but in real life, no. People apply thinly, unevenly, and vitamin D levels stay steady. In fact, sunscreen lets you stay out longer, enjoying the outdoor more safely, without the burning, without the damage. More sun means more vitamin D? I said before, wrong. There's a limit. What do you get beyond that is not vitamin D, it's damage. Damage to your skin, long term, lifelong. Should you even measure vitamin D levels? Perhaps. But the vitamin D test is a standard test, but levels swing with seasons. That's normal. Even days it might swing. Winter lows, summer highs, and office workers may get more on weekends than weekdays. There is no constant perfect level day to day or month to month. Screening everyone is controversial. Many low results are just seasonal lows. Maybe selective screening, discretionary screening by your doctor is worthwhile. Testing is most useful for people at risk, not the worried well. Furthermore, vitamin tests are variable and somewhat unreliable from laboratories to laboratories. Here's another thing I often say to my patients: your skin has the memory of an elephant. It doesn't forget. It may not show the damage in your early decades of life, but it definitely will reveal your past sun behavior, good or bad, as the years go by. So, where does that leave us? More sun, more damage. As we age, the skin doesn't produce as much vitamin D with the same amount of sun. The need for calcium to prevent osteoporosis, to support bones, muscles, and maybe mood. But it isn't a cure all, that's it. It isn't a license to sunbathe. The wars around it, deficiency fears, supplement hype, sunscreen conspiracies tell us more about human belief than biology. The science is clear: safe sun in small doses, balanced diet, supplements when needed, and always protection from the ultraviolet radiation. Vitamin D isn't magic, it's chemistry, behavior, and balance. When you understand that, the next sunshine trap, the next wave of hype loses its power. Next, we'll move on to another vitamin and also circle back to vitamin D's partnership with calcium, bones, and osteoporosis, which I know many of you have asked about. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.